My dad broke away from Rochester stationery when I was about 9 and started his own business. So really, when I was 10 years old, he was up and running. The nice thing about my father was that he was always able to be involved with us. He was always a fixture. I could come off the football field at practice and know that my dad would be up with probably 8 or 10 other dads. I always knew I had a ride home. And so did half the other kids in our neighborhood. Back in 1977, my father and I had lunch one day. I went back, made a few more calls for the brewery, and found out that my dad had a heart attack that day. So when I next saw him, he was on his back at St. Mary's Hospital. He's concerned about bids that are due or jobs that are starting, and he didn't have anybody. So I joined my father very quickly thereafter. I jumped in just trying to keep it going, and then it proved to be something that I thought had more opportunity. And my father and I moved into this very small office space on Saginaw Drive. And the building was sold to a new owner who decided it's time to raise the rents. And when we did the analysis, for about $100 a month more, we could move into a 1,000 square foot store on South Main Street in Pittsford.
I remember when my parents purchased the store, that grand opening, that's kind of when my Messner journey comes into memory. I remember going to Staples every week with my mom. We would do all the office supply shopping. We would stop in there. I would utilize that sweet Xerox copy machine that we had, and I would always make a couple copies and sign it and give it to him. And looking back, it was probably pretty silly, and I know he probably had more important things to do, but I just remember there were some of those things that was just a part of my childhood growing up that you really look back and cherish.
When I took over, we did about as much business in a year that we now do in a month. We brought some things into our own warehouse, which meant hiring a warehouse person. We bought our first forklift, and then we started that progression. We've been in 7 warehouses since 1977. We almost doubled every time we moved. We're now at the point that we have 16,000 feet of warehousing.
He was really able to scale the business and make it into what it is today. And I know it took a lot of grit, a couple cigars here and there. I remember growing up as a kid watching the Sabres game, and he had his blueprints sprawled out over our game table while I was eating dinner. He was just working all the time. When I made the decision to come back here, I wasn't even thinking about eventually taking over the company. I had a passion for clean energy and renewables, but I also had a passion for Rochester and the history of Rochester and the community. And I was always kind of waiting to find something that really kind of gave me more fulfillment and gave me something that I could be proud of. Lo and behold, I had this family business that had been a part of my life right next to me. There was a need on the commercial side. It just seemed like the timing was right. And once you get back and you start learning more about the impact that we were having in the community, it just made you really proud of what we were doing. Flooring is only part of what we do. That's what we do in customers' home, but that flooring enables us to do so much more. And seeing the commitments my dad has made over the years to the community just kind of fell in line with how I felt about how companies should be run and what they should be doing for their employees and what they should be doing for their community.
So Peter Messner has served on the Willow Board for a number of years, nearly a decade, and he has been our treasurer and the chair of the finance committee. He has had such an impact on the agency and the people that we serve. So we were moving from our old shelter to our new shelter, and we had about a year to go on the lease until we were able to move into the new building. And Peter and a group of other folks came through and looked at the space, and Peter took one look at the floor that was there and said, no, I got this. I'm going to replace this, because for the people that are living here, for even just this year, we knew we were moving, and he wanted it to be a space of respect and dignity and something that people would feel like they were valued. And I think for Peter and the Messner Flooring, that it has been about what impact they make on families that are here living, in our neighborhoods. This is a man who notices everything and everyone and does anything that he can to help and to make the world a better place.
Serving the community is partly my personality, and I love to spend time with people who are smarter than I am. And I've always found that working with some of the nonprofits, working on the boards, has afforded me the relationships that really have helped me improve as a person. Not necessarily a business person, but inside out as a person.
We've been talking about the sale of the company, the succession plan, my dad's next steps for years. That RBJ article really kind of seemed like that was kind of the kickoff of everything. And to be planning the retirement party that everyone's at right now, to see my dad, to see him making the decision to do this on his own is exactly what we wanted to have happen.
Ted has such a calmness in his leadership, which really he exhibited in earlier stages of his life. So much that Ted is so consistent with the way he played hockey. He led his hockey team. He didn't control it, but he tried to support other people. He's always demonstrated an understanding and a collaboration with his teammates. The interesting thing with passing this on to the next generation is I believe people age out, and as the business has grown, as our dependence on technology has grown, Ted is much more open, much more engaged than I ever could be. And it just gives me the confidence with his understanding and his ability to work with other people. I need other people to take this and run with it because they can run so much faster and they can do it so much smarter than I can.
What I've learned is a lot has changed over the last 30 years, and how my dad worked is going to be different than how I work. And that's what I'm excited to see. I think we're going to keep doing the things we've always done, which has helped us be known for our service, our honesty, and willing to get jobs completed the right way. There's this saying that competition doesn't do one thing 100% better. They do 100 things 1% better. I think we're poised to really continue on and grow over the next couple of years. Some of the changes that I do see us making will be more towards marketing. We're really trying to be at the cutting edge of it, whether it's utilizing Google AdWords and producing some really nice videos of projects that we're doing. I just want to make sure that we're marketing ourselves for the company that we are. The reason we're here today is because of the team that got us here. You know, my dad didn't do this all by himself. I'm not doing it all by myself. We've got a great group of people that work for us. So I want to make sure that they know that, and the culture in our workplace shows that.